Alright, hello. Finally answering the questions that you guys sent to me on Instagram. I'm so sorry that it took 3 weeks, I think, for me to answer these. So these questions all kind of related to just like life as a pro, or like why I decided to run, or like what got me into running, and all of those more personal questions, I guess. First question that I got: what brought you into running? So basically, when I was in middle school, my parents suggested that I try out for the track team. I had only done dance and gymnastics before that, so when I joined the team, I was like, I'm a high jumper. Like, I do flips and jumps and stuff, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I did high jump for basically the first couple years. I would run relays occasionally, so I guess that's kind of where I shifted over to running. One day, one meet in 10th grade, my coach decided to throw me in the 300 indoor. So I fought him as hard as I could, but figured why not, I'll give it a try. And I think I ended up like winning the meet or something, I don't know, it was like a random high school meet, but from that point on, my coach was like, you're a runner and you're doing running. So I started running the 400 from there, and I phased out of high jump eventually. So that's why I'm a runner now. What made you decide to pursue pro track after graduation, and did you consider not doing it? Yeah, I definitely considered not doing it. Running professionally at all wasn't really on my mind as like a legitimate possibility for most of my college career. I'm sure I imagined it at some times, but it was never like a solid plan in my mind. And it wasn't really until I started running the 800 senior year when I saw that I had potential in a different event that I hadn't really experimented with or tried at all. My coach decided to put me in it at ACCs, and I ended up placing and qualifying for nationals. And then from there I was like, wow, I just like started this event and I have no idea what I could do in it. So maybe I'll keep running after graduation. And that's kind of what made me decide to keep doing it. So I hadn't ran the 800. I don't know if I would have continued, because I had personally felt that I had plateaued where I was running the 400 and didn't see much potential there. And it wasn't until senior year that I started running 800 and like changing my training and my mindset a lot that I really saw that, hey, maybe I could keep doing this. What advice do you have for talking with track clubs? That's a good one. I would say that this process probably looks different for almost everybody, but here are the pieces of advice that I have. First, I would research the club that you're looking at. Do they have standards to join? Do you meet those standards? And if so, are they looking for more athletes? Just like kind of do some background research. Second piece of advice I would say is to talk to them. Like talk to the team, set up calls if you can, or whatever, get to know people that are there, because that would be important. I'm assuming that talking to the coach is like a given in this. So if you talk to the coach and like meet the coach, from there also meet the athletes and like ask them their experience about the area that the team is in, if you don't live there already, what practice is like, what the schedule is like you can just learn a lot more about that. And I think that can be really helpful in determining if it's like the right place for you. And then my last piece of advice for talking to track clubs is like, don't be afraid to like put out some feelers. I don't think it's like you should necessarily have the mindset where you're like, oh, no one really reached out to me. I guess I can't join a track club. I guess I don't have any options. Don't be afraid to shoot a message. Competing after college, what are some options for competing? I guess there's a lot. Like I was saying earlier, you could join a track club in your area. You could race at open events. Like there's track meets that have open sections. You just gotta look for those in your area, maybe by looking at track club websites or their social media, seeing other people talk about it. There's track clubs that aren't necessarily elite, but they have other people who maybe competed in college or in high school or just really like to run that and also like to compete, so you can like meet with them a couple times a week to do track workouts instead of like working on your own, and that kind of keeps like a level of like community and team and competition. 20 years from now, what do you want to say about your time as a runner? There's definitely a few things I want to say, I think. one of those would be that I like gave it my all, and I don't want to have this feeling that I floated through the years and like did everything by the motions. I want to feel like I actually gave it my all in like every little thing that I did, and at the end I want to feel like I reached my potential, which I feel like it's hard to like put a pinpoint on that, to know when you fully have reached that, but I at least want to be able to say that I gave my best shot. And then secondly, and this has become increasingly important to me, I want to be able to say that I like gave back during my time as a runner. Like, I just know that there's ways to have an impact as an athlete, and I want to be able to say that during my time as a runner, I did more than just, you know, post best times. Yeah, but that's definitely something I need to work on, so I can say this when I'm done. Next question. When will you move up to the 1500? Great question. I would like to say never, because I've already doubled my distance. If you don't know, I was a sprinter all through college, except for like the final year where I started running 800 a little bit, and I already always said that I would never run the 800. Here I am doing that, so I guess I can never say never. Okay, those were my quick general life as a pro questions. More like personal than informative, but thank you for those questions. And I hope that they were helpful for those of you that asked them. I'm sorry it took me weeks to answer them and get them out to you. And for those of you that asked other questions that related to like eating and diet, nutrition, or running, training, and workouts, I have 2 blog posts coming up early next week, and probably the next week or later next week that answer those questions. So be on the lookout for those. Thanks so much for listening.